I saw men from Tivoli go to the police vehicle, park before the Tivoli court, and throw a bomb inside. The vehicle exploded and caught fire. I am aware that about 8 gunmen have been shot. Some have been killed, but what I've been observing, people have been taking them up along with their guns in hand.
Life in a Jamaican gang is a dangerous game. New data paints a stark picture. Gang members in Jamaica are 158% more likely to be murdered than other Jamaicans. This means their life expectancy is drastically shorter. They live with the constant threat of violence. Many young men are drawn into this life. They see few other options. The allure of power and money is strong. However, the price they pay is often their lives. This statistic is a stark reminder of the brutal reality of gang involvement. It highlights the deadly consequences that come with choosing this path. The study, conducted by the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, or CAPRI, sheds light on the extreme vulnerability of those caught in the crosshairs of gang warfare. The risks are undeniable, yet the cycle of violence continues. Understanding why young men join gangs is crucial to breaking this cycle. It's about more than just a desire for power or wealth. It's about survival, identity, and belonging in communities where opportunities are scarce. The study highlights the urgent need for intervention strategies. These strategies must address the root causes of gang involvement. Jamaica's high murder rate is no secret. It's a problem that has plagued the island nation for years. But what's driving this violence? The answer is complex, but one factor stands out: gangs. Most violent crimes in Jamaica are linked to gang activity. These gangs thrive on turf wars, drug trafficking, and extortion. They operate with a level of impunity that is alarming. This dominance of the criminal landscape has devastating consequences. It creates a climate of fear and insecurity. It undermines the rule of law and hinders economic development. The Jamaican government has made attempts to crack down on gangs. However, these efforts have been met with limited success. The gangs are deeply entrenched in communities. They often have more power and resources than the authorities. The grip of gangs on Jamaica's social fabric is undeniable. Their influence extends beyond direct violence. It seeps into communities, shaping daily life and instilling fear. Breaking this grip requires a multi-pronged approach. This approach must involve social intervention, law enforcement, and addressing the root causes that allow gangs to thrive. To understand Jamaica's gang problem, we need to look beyond the violence itself. We need to examine the conditions that allow these gangs to flourish. Poverty and inequality are two major contributing factors. In marginalized communities, opportunities are scarce, and hope can feel like a distant dream. Young people growing up in these environments are particularly vulnerable to gang recruitment. Gangs offer them a sense of belonging, identity, and a way to escape the cycle of poverty. However, this escape often comes at a steep price. These young people are lured into a life of crime with the promise of quick money and power. The reality, however, is far more grim. They become trapped in a cycle of violence and despair. Addressing Jamaica's gang problem requires tackling these root causes. This means investing in social programs, creating economic opportunities, and providing young people with viable alternatives to gang life. It's about breaking the cycle of poverty and despair that makes gang membership seem like the only option. It requires a long-term commitment to social justice and equality. When we think of gangs, we often picture groups of young men involved in violence and crime. However, this stereotypical view overlooks a crucial aspect of gang dynamics: the role of women. While women may not be on the front lines of gang warfare, their involvement is far from insignificant. They play vital roles in the background, acting as the backbone of these criminal organizations. Women's roles in Jamaican gangs are often subtle and less visible. They are less likely to be involved in direct violence, but their contributions are essential to the gang's operations. They manage finances, gather intelligence, smuggle drugs and weapons, and provide logistical support. In essence, they act as the silent hands guiding the gang's activities. Their lower profile makes them less likely to attract attention from law enforcement, making them invaluable assets to the gangs. This hidden nature of their work makes it challenging to address their involvement. It requires a deeper understanding of the complexities of gang dynamics and the specific roles women play. It also highlights the need for tailored interventions that acknowledge and address the unique vulnerabilities and motivations of women involved in gangs. Section 5. Unveiling the numbers, gender, and gang-related arrests. Statistics from 2024 reveal a stark gender disparity in gang-related arrests. Out of 488 individuals arrested for gang-related offenses, only 19 were women, representing a meager 4%. This disparity is further highlighted by the fact that less than 3% of arrests for violent crimes involved women, and in 2021, women accounted for a mere 2% of murder arrests. The Capri study found no instances of women directly committing gang-related homicides. These figures underscore the largely behind-the-scenes nature of women's roles in Jamaican gangs. While these numbers may suggest that women's involvement in gang activity is minimal, this is far from the truth. The low arrest rates are more indicative of the challenges in identifying and apprehending women involved in gangs, rather than a reflection of their actual numbers. Their roles are often less visible and more difficult to prosecute. They are less likely to be on the streets engaging in overt criminal activity, making them more adept at evading law enforcement. This discrepancy in arrest rates highlights the need for more effective strategies to address the issue of women in gangs. Law enforcement agencies need to be equipped with a better understanding of the nuanced roles women play and develop targeted approaches to investigate and prosecute their involvement in gang activity. Section 6. A paradox of violence, Jamaica's high murder rate, low victimization. Jamaica presents a perplexing paradox. It boasts one of the highest murder rates in Latin America and the Caribbean, yet it simultaneously has the lowest victimization rate. This seemingly contradictory situation can be attributed to the concentrated nature of violence within the island nation. A staggering 70% of murders in Jamaica are directly linked to gang-related activities. These killings are often targeted, occurring within the closed circles of rival gangs vying for territory, control of drug markets, or retribution for past grievances. The remaining 20% of murders are classified as interpersonal violence. However, even within this category, a significant portion can be indirectly attributed to the influence of gangs. Domestic disputes, personal conflicts, and robberies can escalate quickly in communities where gangs hold sway, often leading to fatal consequences. This concentrated nature of violence means that while the overall murder rate is alarmingly high, the majority of the population faces a relatively low risk of becoming victims of homicide. However, this is not a cause for complacency. The pervasive influence of gangs casts a long shadow over Jamaican society, creating an environment of fear and insecurity, even for those not directly involved in gang activity. Section 7. The crippling grip of gangs on Jamaica's future. The impact of gang violence on Jamaica extends far beyond the immediate victims and their families. It casts a long shadow over the entire nation, stifling its growth and potential. Gangs pose a significant threat to Jamaica's peace, citizen security, economic development, and overall well-being. The high murder rate fueled by gang warfare tarnishes Jamaica's image abroad. It discourages tourism, a vital sector of the Jamaican economy. This creates a climate of fear and uncertainty, deterring foreign investment and hindering economic growth. The resources that Jamaica spends on combating gang violence and its consequences could be better utilized for social development programs, education, healthcare, and infrastructure projects. Addressing the gang problem is not just about reducing crime. It's about unlocking Jamaica's true potential and creating a brighter future for its people. Imagine a Jamaica where the murder rate is comparable to the global average, similar to the levels experienced in the 1960s before the proliferation of gangs. This vision of a safer, more prosperous Jamaica is within reach, but achieving it requires a sustained and comprehensive approach to dismantling the power structures of gangs and addressing the root causes that allow them to thrive. Section 8. Case Study, Stephanie Mama Christie, a Woman of Influence. The case of Stephanie Mama Christie, convicted in 2023 for her involvement in the notorious One Don Gang, provides a compelling illustration of the strategic roles women can occupy within Jamaican gang structures. Christie, far from being a passive participant, was a central figure in the gang's operations. She held significant influence, managing the gang's finances, arranging bail for members, and even bribing corrupt officials to protect the gang's interests. Christie's case debunks the myth that women in gangs are merely coerced or manipulated into subservient roles. She was a shrewd operator, wielding power and influence to further the gang's criminal enterprises. Her conviction sent shockwaves through Jamaica, exposing the hidden depths of women's involvement in organized crime. Her story serves as a stark reminder that women are not just victims of gang violence. They can be active and willing participants, occupying positions of authority and influence within these criminal networks. Understanding the motivations and pathways that lead women like Christie into these roles is crucial for developing effective intervention strategies. It's about addressing the systemic factors that make gang involvement appealing and providing viable alternatives. Section 9. Breaking the Cycle. Empowering women, dismantling gangs. Tackling Jamaica's deeply entrenched gang culture demands a multifaceted approach, one that goes beyond traditional law enforcement strategies. Empowering women and providing them with viable alternatives to gang involvement is crucial in this fight. This means addressing the socio-economic factors that often push women into the arms of gangs. Programs that provide economic opportunities, such as job training, microloans, and support for small businesses, can help women achieve financial independence and break free from the cycle of poverty that often leads to gang involvement. Furthermore, investing in education and skills development for women can equip them with the tools they need to pursue legitimate career paths. Access to quality education can empower women with knowledge, critical thinking skills, and a broader worldview, enabling them to make informed choices for themselves and their families. Creating a supportive environment for women who want to leave gang life is equally important. This includes providing access to safe houses, counseling services, and rehabilitation programs that address the trauma and challenges they have faced. By addressing the root causes that make women vulnerable to gang involvement and providing them with opportunities for a better future, Jamaica can begin to dismantle the power structures of gangs from within. Empowering women is not just about protecting them from exploitation. It's about transforming communities and building a safer, more equitable Jamaica for all.